how to remain unbothered. Are you struggling with something in your life right now, or maybe you're having a big freak out over a major event? Well, today I have 3 tips that are going to help you to get back in control and stop reacting. So if that sounds like something you need, then be sure to keep watching. What's up, gorgeous, and welcome back to another episode. My name is Jen Stevens. I'm a holistic manifestation coach and creator of Recode Manifestation Academy. I'm so excited to welcome you here today to my YouTube channel. This is where I create a brand new free training for you every week, all about the art of up-leveling your life by using the power of your mind. So if you're at all interested in letting go of your old broken patterns and shifting into your next level, then you'll want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today, we are talking about how to remain unbothered. Doesn't that sound like an amazing place to be? Truthfully, most of us are triggered many times throughout our day or our week. And there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just the natural way that your brain works. But the problem is when you're in reaction mode, you are as far away from being a conscious creator as possible, because basically it is your subconscious mind reacting and trying to protect you, and you're not really in conscious control of what's going on. If you've ever snapped back or done something very out of character when you were in a moment of rage or upset, that's really what's going on. It's not that you consciously thought about this thing ahead of time. It's that lizard part of your brain is the one stepping up and into control. So of course, we're all going to mess up from time to time, and nobody is ever perfect. But if you are living most of your life in reaction mode, again, you are not living in a conscious creator mode. You are just reacting to the circumstances around you, and you aren't able to show up as the person who you really want to be. With that all being said, living in reaction mode is also incredibly exhausting. If you are trying to micromanage everything in your life so that you can be happy, I guarantee that you are going to, number one, fail at this job, and number 2, burn yourself out in the process. We can never control our life circumstances. The only thing we can ever control is our reaction to them. And when you can learn how to control your reactions and live in a more zen, calm, cool, collected state, you are going to have so much more of your energy left over for the things in life that you actually want and actually enjoy. Living in reaction mode is our default, and it's not like anyone took you aside in school and taught you that there was another way to be. But with a few simple pointers, you can get control back of your mind and your emotional state. And I really suggest that if any of what I'm saying right now is resonating with you, that you work on trying to implement this into your life. The more peace you can have, the more calm and inner clarity you can have, the better your life is going to be in general. So while there are lots of different ways to remain unbothered, today I wanted to concentrate on 3 big tips that are going to take you a very long way. So tip number 1 is to remember to recognize what is real and what is not real. So anytime that you are triggered or anytime a situation comes up in your life that you are unhappy with, you are rushing to fill in the blanks. Like there is something that has happened, and then there's a story that your brain creates, and then there's your reaction. We are never really having an emotional reaction to something that happened in the real world. We are having a reaction to the story in our mind that we made up about it. It is really hard, though, admittedly, to see the difference. So one trick that I find really helpful, especially when you're in the heat of the moment, is to come back to asking yourself, what do I actually know to be true in this scenario? So for example, say you are in a relationship with somebody, you text your boyfriend and he doesn't text you back for 6 hours. And in that 6 hours, you have made up this incredible story about how he's about to break up with you or he's just not into you. And by the time he texts you back, you are really short with him and really terse, and it's not a good interaction at that point. Scenarios like this happen all the time. But if I could take this person who's having this experience by the hand and slow it down a little bit, I would want them to see the story part that they are making up in their minds. So the fact of the situation is you texted your boyfriend and they did not text back in a certain amount of time. But what is happening is that in your mind, you are making that length of time mean something, and you are reacting to that thing even though you really don't have any idea of what's actually happening. So yes, of course, I know that there's going to be someone out there saying, well,
I'm really highly psychic and I do know what's going on.
And that's okay too, but that is a separate situation. What I really want you to remember is that the facts that you have in the situation are going to help to calm you down and bring you back down to planet Earth. If you are making up a story about how someone wants to dump you, or they don't like you, or they don't respect you because of something like missing a text, that is really a story that you have invented, and it is really important for you to see that. That doesn't mean you have to let it go. That doesn't mean you have to, not say anything to this person. Like maybe this situation comes up and you realize that you're having this reaction, and you realize that you don't like this behavior. So maybe the next step for you is to bring it up with this person and say, I would appreciate it if you would at least acknowledge my text within an hour or something, so I'm not wondering what's happened to you. You can set a boundary or make a request. That's not a boundary, that was a request. And that might help you out in the future. But again, the most important thing to remember is that if you are already reacting like this person has dumped you or is about to dump you, even though the only thing that actually happened was that they forgot to text you, you are making a mountain out of a molehill. You are taking flimsy evidence and turning it into something else, and you are having a huge reaction based on that thing, which we have no evidence about. When you catch yourself doing this, it is really interesting because your brain is absolutely convinced that what it sees is the right way and the only way. But unfortunately, humans are completely subjective. Like all of our life, all of our perspectives are completely subjective. It can be hard to talk yourself off the ledge with that, but it is actually true. And if you can just, try to hold down the reaction. Try not to act as if someone's about to dump you until you get more information, until you can have a conversation. That is going to save you so much mental time, energy, inner drama. This one will just take you a very long way. Okay, how to remain unbothered. Tip number 2. This is an excellent tip which goes so beyond just remaining unbothered. This is really just a tip that is going to help to give you massive amounts of inner peace. So the reason why we get upset sometimes is because we assume somebody is thinking or feeling something, and we don't want them to think or feel that thing. A lot of us are very much in the micromanaging world. We are uncomfortable with people having quote unquote negative thoughts about us. We want everyone to think of us as an amazing person. And we can spend a lot of our time trying to prove to other people that we are amazing so that we we'll get a certain reaction from them and be pretty well assured that they still think that we are amazing or whatever. The problem with this, of course, is that no matter how hard you try, no matter which words you pick, no matter, what your actions are, you can try to be the nicest, most giving person in the world. None of these things are a guarantee that people are going to like you or love you or respect you. This is a stupid little game that we like to play, especially us people pleasers. We are nice, but it's kind of really a form of manipulation. We are nice so that somebody will think of us a certain way because fundamentally we are uncomfortable with the idea that somebody might not like us. That is where the problem comes in. Of course, it's good to be nice to people and you want to treat the people that you care about nicely, or people in general nicely. But when we're not really aware of what's going on, when we're not aware that we're doing this, not for the other person, but for our own needs, that is when it's actually about control and manipulation. It's not just about being nice. This is a big thing to admit to yourself, but if you resonate with this at all, if you fall into the category of empath or people pleaser, this one probably applies to you. And there's really a lot more I can say on the topic, but for now, the piece that I really just want you to take with you is, well, I guess it's kind of a two-parter. It's you cannot never ever control what other people think about you. You can be the nicest, most giving person in the world, and that is not a guarantee that someone is going to love you or respect you. So that's part 1. And part number 2 for that is that other people's emotions are not our business. They're not our problem. You do not have to cheer someone up or, tiptoe around to make someone feel good. In fact, if you're doing that, on some level, you are probably hiding who you are as an authentic being. Anytime you put someone else's needs ahead of yours, you are hiding who you are and what you really need in life, which ends up being a sword that ends up pointing on yourself. This is a difficult habit to break, but honestly, when you realize that all you can really do in life is show up as your best version, say the things that feel good to you, that feel in alignment for you, but you have to let everything else go. If someone doesn't like it, or they think you should have done more, or they think you said the wrong thing, or they just don't like you even though you've been nice to them, you just have to learn how to let that go, because no amount of stressing is going to change that person. You basically just can never control anyone else's mind. And when you really internalize that and know that inside of you, you can let go of so much of the stuff, so much of the little games we play, so much of the drama. That is true inner peace. Okay, tip number 3 on how to remain unbothered. This is to notice and kill your expectation hangover. So this one goes hand in hand with the first tip that I gave you, which was learning to recognize what is true in a situation versus what you've made up inside of your mind. This point is all about the expectation hangover, which really just means that most of the time when we get upset about something, it is not because something has actually gone wrong in the world. It is because the story that we made up in our mind about how things should be does not match what actually happened. We think that our boss should have given us a raise. We think that this person should not have broken up with us. Whatever the situation might be, we had a different picture in our brain of what was going to happen, and what actually happened was just something different. This is just a function of your ego. Your ego is just doing its job, which is to keep you safe. And what your ego wants most in the world is to be able to reliably predict what is happening in your future. So if you get an unexpected result, like being let go of your job, maybe a friend doesn't want to hang out with you anymore, or your boyfriend dumps you, or whatever the case might be, it's not that those things are actually bad, like relationships end. And if you're not in the right relationship, why would you want to stay in it? No job basically lasts forever anymore. All of these things that we take so personally rarely are as personal as we think they are. Yes, even the boyfriend who is trying to blame you for the breakup, it wasn't all about you. It was about this situation. And it was probably, if that person broke up with you, more about the stuff going on in that person's head than anything to do with you. We make expectations about almost anything. We expect that we are going to be able to drive to work and not run into crazy traffic. We expect that when we go to Starbucks, they are going to have oat milk and not have run out. We expect that our friends are going to stay in our life forever, even though as an adult, we tend to lose half of our friend group every 7 years. Basically, you are capable of changing, and you are capable of growth, and you are capable of handling these bumps in the road. But it's when we hold on to them, when we make them mean something bad about us, when we run around for 6 months complaining about the same thing to our friends over and over and over again, that is not surrendering. That is not letting go. That is you holding on to the situation and reliving the same crappy experience over and over again. So of course, when something happens to you, venting about it, processing it, like that's a normal thing. But there comes a time when that pity party has to end, because if it isn't ending, you are literally stepping into it and reliving the trauma over and over again. Like your brain really can't tell the difference between something you are just thinking about and something that you are actually experiencing. So if you're thinking about your breakup over and over and over again, your body is basically going into that traumatic state every single time you think about it, which is really unhealthy. It will really have an impact on how you are feeling in general. We're all going to get an expectation hangover. We are all going to hit a bump in the road that we did not expect. But what really matters is your ability to bounce back from that. You have to let it go. You have to not take it with you and make it mean something bad about you. You have to be ready to go into your next chapter as the shiniest, brightest version of you. Right now, I'm making it sound like it's really easy, and it really takes a little bit more thought and a bit of effort to get there. But what I just want to offer you in this tip is that it is possible for you. And I just want to highlight the fact that your expectations can really be the source of so much angst. And when you can learn how to let that go, that leaves you very much unbothered. Okay, so that is it for today's training. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Honestly, I think I could talk about being unbothered in a lot of detail for a long time, but I really think that these 3 tips today are going to take you a very long way to managing your mind and your emotions in whatever is happening in your world. If you enjoyed this video and you're craving more content, then I invite you to come over and check out my Recode Manifestation Academy. It is basically like a gym for your mind, and every single month I'm bringing you a brand new training similar to this, but more in depth with worksheets and hypnosis meditations, all designed to help you become your best self. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll leave a link for that in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video today, please do me a favor, give me a like. And other than that, I'm wishing you a very unbothered week, and I will see you back here soon in the next video.